Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to tell about the news I just watched on YouTube and titled is UK threat level rise have following Islamic attack by gunmen in Vienna. Now, in Vienna, 14 people have been arrested in connection with last night's scan attacks in the city. 4 people were killed in the shootings, another 22 were injured. When a gunman described as an Islamist terrorist by the authorities that fired into crowds of people at 6 different locations. The attack took place in the city center where people enjoyed a last night out in restaurants and cafes before a coronavirus lockdown comes into force. This city has for so long enjoyed the reputation as a safe place, immune apparently from the kind of Islamist terrorism that's torn off so many European capitals last night. All that changed. Austria is now observing their 3 days of national mourning following the attacks which targeted the very heart of this city. Violent confused in the streets of Vienna, people fled as shots were fired and armed police rushed in to rescue the city. It was the eve of Corona lockdown. Many had gathered for a last night out in the city with a reputation for safety. One of the people said that they just heard shots everywhere and police. The helicopters were flying around us and we got really afraid. One of the rabbi told the correspondent that he had looked out of his window to saw him shooting apparently at random. The rabbi told that he had seen a attacker with a long weapon of rifle or a gun running around shooting at people, targeting people sitting outside bars and pubs which are lined along the street. And just day after terror attacks in France, another country mourns its death. Among the victims, all elder men and women. A young passenger that whiters, others are in hospital critically injured. The hunt for suspects continues. Detectives have made several arrests, but attention focused on the 20-year-old gunman shot by the police in that night. The Austrian Chancellor Sebastian Kurz said the shooter was born in Austria. He has a migration background from Northern Macedonia and he has in prison because he is a supporter of the Islamic State. But of course, we will have to find out the details in the next day. Vienna streets quiet and that day. Fear and corona have brought the city center for a near standstill, but Maurice, a doctor, told them that he felt compelled to do something. Another society said that it was really hard to show that you are grieving because like nobody should be your side, and he wanted to grieve that show that sympathy. As we should expect, there are shock and disbelief there. But there is also a sense of resignation. This has become a desperately familiar scenario for Europe, a city center state which felt self-transformed in a matter of minutes. And the question for Austria now is, will last night's attack change the country, and if so, how? For now, Dove acquired defiance in that night as violence raged outside. Members of the city's Philharmonic Orchestra were trapped in their concert hall. They chose quite simply to play on in response to attacks Europe, both in Austria and France. The Home Secretary there has raised the United Kingdom terror threat level from substantial to serve as As a UK now on the second highest threat level, have an attack judged to be highly like Minister said that people should be alert but not armed. Pretty much from the moment that attacks started to unfold, that night gets that is the Joint Terrorism Analysis Center that sits inside 5 headquarters, and you separate from them started to examine what that would then for safety of British national, both their own approach and looked in the pattern of attacks that we have seen in Europe in the last few weeks. There are deadly jihadist attacks in France, followed by what is cancelled as morning terrorist films attacks in Vienna that night, a gunman walking around heavily armed picking people off, and they conclude that was enough to push the threat level up from where it had been substantial, meaning an attack was likely to serve highly likely now. In practice, we are not going to notice a great deal of difference member as well that we are about to go into lockdown, which is going to make it much harder for nobody planning terrorist attacks should they be so, and there's so no indication at the moment at that nobody it is make it harder from them execute. It was those mean though it is an awful lot of people are going to be online communicating, plotting, planning, and possibly fantasizing. There are still more than 3,000 subjects of interest that mean and the police are following with suspected terrorist sympathies in this country. So, according to the news, we know that there are a lot of people in the world who think that Islam is bad and terrorism, but not in reality. Islam never taught to kill each other, and all religions teach a goodness. It's just a lot of irresponsible people in the name of Islam. May Australians be quick to find the real culprit, and the world can live in peace. So, I think this video is ending here. Thank you so much for your attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.